Carlos is 31. He runs 3 miles every morning. No prescriptions, no chronic conditions. He hasn't been to the doctor in 2 years. He dropped his health insurance in January because the premium jumped from $310 to $640 a month after the ACA subsidies expired. I'm healthy, he thought. I'll save the $640 a month and just be careful. 6 months later, he slipped on ice walking to his car. 2 hours in the ER, 1 X-ray, no surgery, no overnight stay. The bill arrived 3 weeks later, $11,847. Not because anything was wrong with the treatment, because he was uninsured. And in America, being uninsured is one of the most expensive financial decisions you can make. At Awaken Your Financial Power, we run the analysis banks and insurers don't want you to see. Today, the financial bomb of healthcare and the one tool that diffuses it. Carlos's story isn't an edge case, it's the American norm. 100 million Americans are currently carrying some form of medical or dental debt. That's nearly 1 in 3 people. 41% of working-age Americans, roughly 72 million people, have medical bill problems or are actively paying off medical debt right now. Total medical debt in the U.S. between $195 and $220 billion. That's more than all student loan debt in most other developed countries. And here's the number that should stop you cold. 66.5% of all personal bankruptcies in the United States are linked to medical expenses. 2 out of every 2 Americans who go bankrupt, who lose their homes, their savings, their credit, did so because they got sick. And unlike credit card debt or a bad investment, medical debt is involuntary. You don't choose to have a heart attack. You don't choose to need emergency surgery. You rack up a $90,000 ICU bill because your body failed you, and the system hands you a bill anyway. Now let's talk about what happened in 2026, because this is the inflection point that turned a chronic problem into an acute crisis. The enhanced ACA subsidies that had kept premiums affordable for 22 million Americans expired on December 31, 2025. Congress failed to extend them. The result? For the average ACA enrollee, monthly premiums more than doubled, from $88 to $1,904 per month, according to KFF. $1,904 a month for health insurance, before copays, before deductibles, before prescriptions, just to have the card in your wallet. For context, that's more than most people pay for rent in some U.S. cities. And one woman named Sarah in the CBS News report said her premium would be more than her mortgage payment. The projected result, 4.8 million Americans are expected to drop their coverage entirely in 2026. And of those who stayed, 55% said they cut or plan to cut spending on basic household expenses like food and clothing just to afford their premiums. Food, to pay for health insurance. That's the choice millions of Americans are making right now. Back to Carlos. He got the $11,847 bill, and he did what millions of Americans do. He panicked. His first instinct was to put it on his credit card at 29% APR, which would mean he'd pay nearly $17,000 total by the time it was paid off. Then he called Sofia. She had one question. Did you call the hospital's billing department before you paid anything? Carlos hadn't. Most people don't. But medical bills are one of the most negotiable expenses that exist in American personal finance. Sofia told him hospitals are legally required to offer charity care or financial assistance programs to uninsured or underinsured patients. Many will reduce bills by 30 to 60% just by asking. Carlos called. He submitted a financial hardship application. 3 weeks later, his $11,847 bill was reduced to $3,200. Still painful, but not life-destroying. The difference between those two numbers, $8,647, exists only because he made one phone call. Now let's look at how Sophia handles healthcare financially, because she's not just avoiding the trap, she's using the system to build wealth. Sophia has a high-deductible health plan, a lower premium plan that pairs with one of the most powerful financial tools almost nobody uses correctly, the HSA. The HSA has what's called a triple tax advantage, and it's the only account in the entire U.S. tax code that gives you this. Advantage 1. Every dollar you contribute to an HSA is tax deductible. If Sophia contributes $4,400 this year, the 2026 individual limit, she reduces her taxable income by $4,400. Advantage 2. The money grows tax-free inside the account. Sophia invests her HSA in an S&P 500 index fund. No capital gains tax, no dividend tax, tax-free compounding. Advantage 3. When she withdraws money for qualified medical expenses, doctor's visits, prescriptions, dental, vision, it comes out tax-free. Contribute tax-free, grow tax-free, withdraw tax-free. There is no other account in the U.S. tax code like this. Not the 401k, not the Roth IRA. The HSA is in a class of its own. But here's where Sophia does something most people don't. She doesn't use the HSA like a medical checking account. She treats it like a stealth retirement account. She pays medical expenses out of pocket, lets the HSA grow, and saves every single receipt. This is called the shoebox strategy, and it's the most powerful tax move most Americans have never heard of. There is no time limit on HSA reimbursements. If Sophia pays a $500 medical bill in 2026, saves the receipt, and lets the HSA grow for 25 years, she can reimburse herself $500 tax-free in 2051. Meanwhile, that $500 in her HSA, invested at 10% annual return, becomes $5,417 in 25 years. She pays herself back $500 tax-free and keeps the rest as retirement money. If Sophia maxes out her HSA every year at $4,400 for 30 years, investing it in an S&P 500 index fund, she ends up with $835,753. She contributed $132,000 total over 30 years. The account grew to $835,753. That's 6.3 times her money, and she paid zero taxes on any of it. And after age 65, if she wants to withdraw for non-medical expenses, she pays ordinary income tax, just like a traditional IRA. Meaning the HSA is literally a 401k with a medical superpower bolted on. It never gets worse than a retirement account. It often gets much better. Quick pause. Tell me honestly, do you have an HSA account right now? Yes or no? And if no, did you even know this account existed before today? I read every single comment. So what does a healthcare financial plan actually look like in 2026? Let's build it step by step. Step 1. Get covered, even if the premium feels painful, because an uninsured ER visit averages $1,300 to $1,500 for something minor and $90,000 plus for something serious. The premium is the hedge. Step 2. Understand your plan before you need it. Know your deductible, the amount you pay before insurance kicks in. Know your out-of-pocket maximum, the most you'll pay in a year no matter what. For 2026, a silver ACA plan has an out-of-pocket max around $1,800, a bronze plan around $9,500. That $7,700 difference matters enormously if something goes wrong. Step 3. If you have a high deductible plan, open an HSA immediately, as in this week, because every month you wait is compounding your missing. You can open an HSA at Fidelity, Charles Schwab, or Health Equity, all with zero monthly fees and access to low-cost index funds. The 2026 contribution limits, $4,400 for individuals, $8,750 for families. Step 4. Build a medical emergency fund separate from your regular emergency fund. Target your deductible amount in cash, accessible within 24 hours. If your deductible is $3,000, you need $3,000 liquid because medical bills don't wait for you to save up. And step 5, the one Carlos learned the hard way, always call the billing department before you pay anything. Ask for financial hardship programs. Ask if they'll negotiate. The worst they can say is no. The best that can happen is what happened to Carlos, an $8,687 reduction from one phone call.
Now let's put the full picture in numbers. Two people, same income, same age, different healthcare financial strategies. Marcus, no HSA, standard employer plan, pays medical bills when they come. Zero preparation. Sofia, HDHP plus HSA, maxes the $4,400 limit annually, invests in the S&P 500, pays medical bills out of pocket, and saves receipts. At age 65, Marcus has paid income tax on every dollar he earned and spent on healthcare. He has no dedicated healthcare savings. At 65, Sofia has $835,753 in her HSA. She has decades of receipts she can reimburse tax-free. And her healthcare costs in retirement, estimated at $315,000 for an average couple, are largely covered. The average annual healthcare cost for a family of 4 in 2026 is $37,824, according to Milliman. That's $103 every single day, whether you plan for it or not. The only difference is whether you paid it with pre-tax dollars or after-tax dollars, with compound interest working for you or against you. Here's the uncomfortable truth the healthcare debate in America never gets to. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed for the people who understand it. The triple tax advantage of the HSA, the right to negotiate medical bills, the charity care programs hospitals are required to offer. These tools exist. They're legal. They're available to anyone. The difference between Carlos paying $1,847 in an ER bill he didn't expect and Sofia paying $0 in federal taxes on her medical expenses isn't luck. It isn't income. It's a decision made before something went wrong. Healthcare is now the #1 financial fear in America, and it should be. It's the only expense that can arrive uninvited, be completely outside your control, and still financially destroy a family that was doing everything else right. That's why it can't be the one thing you didn't plan for. 3 things you can do this week, not this year, this week. 1. Find out if your health plan is HSA eligible. Check your plan documents or call your HR department. If it is, open an HSA at Fidelity or Schwab today. Contribute whatever you can, even if it's $50. 2. Know your out-of-pocket maximum. Look it up on your insurance card or plan documents right now. Then make sure you have that amount in liquid savings. That number is your medical shield. 3. If you have any outstanding medical bills, call the billing department this week. Ask 3 words. Do you offer financial assistance? You might be surprised what happens next. Carlos learned all of this the hard way after a $1,847 ER bill he didn't expect. You're watching this before that happens to you. That matters. Subscribe to Awaken Your Financial Power.